just going to show you some images of a festival called Local and Live, which I'm sure many of you have heard of. I just want you to think about these images, just the visual aspect of what's going on here, and then I'm just going to briefly talk to you about live music. So why is live music vitally important for a community? I think it's fair to say that not every man, woman and child share a communal passion or love for music, but I'm sure we're all aware that many of us do. And over the past decade, I think I've probably organised close to 2,000 live music events. So that's been a multitude of bars and cafes, clubs, theatres and open-air festivals. I think one of the unique things for me is that as well as an organiser, I'm a musician as well, so I have a good insight as to how it is being in charge and running events, but also being there as a performer. I think the one thing that live music can do for a community is it can really positively inspire. It can unite people and draws people of all ages, backgrounds, women, children, all different walks of life can be assembled in one venue for a unique experience. And what is the experience of live music? It is the atmosphere. It is the feeling of being entertained. That is why people go to see live music. And from the performer's point of view, it is the thrill of entertaining. The reality, of course, is that perhaps there is a perception that live music just happens. Somebody waves a wand and an event appears. But it's not the case. Live music costs money. It requires investment. And I'm sure many of you have heard how many venues are falling by the wayside. And why is that? Well, it costs money to run a venue, of course. And if people don't continue to support live music, those venues will disappear completely. It's a sad thing that's happening. And so I'm really here to tell you about my passion to keep live music going as long as possible. So what are some of the costs involved? Well, from a venue standpoint, obviously things like security, electricity, equipment, all the various costs you'd expect from running a live music destination. But for musicians, they need to be paid, they need to buy their instruments. So all these things add up. And I promise you over the running costs of a year, it really adds up to a lot of money. So in terms of what can you do to help to continue this wonderful thing that you see not enough of. I mean, there's still not enough live music happening, but there are a lot of passionate musicians out there, and there are a lot of passionate festival goers. I'm sure many of you here in this room today. What can you do? Keep going to bars and clubs. Keep going to festivals. Keep putting money in a busker's hat. When you walk past a busker on a street, that he or she may be giving, hopefully, everything they've got into that performance, but it costs the busker money to buy that instrument. It probably costs the busker money to travel to the spot where they're busking from. But it's easy to forget as you walk past, and just putting a bit of change into that hat can do two things. One, it acknowledges the performance of the busker on the street, because for that brief moment you've engaged, and engagement is so much of it. I would just like to finish today by just talking about this last image. This was taken at the Local and Live Music Festival in Calverley Grounds last year. We had to move the festival from the Pantiles because the area on the Pantiles now is too small, and as you can see there's a considerable crowd there. Calverley Grounds is definitely the natural location for the event, but it's a really striking image for me, and that really typifies what I'm trying to say to you. You have an unsigned band there on the stage called the Soundcasters from Maidstone, and you have perhaps in that shot a couple of thousand people, but that crowd goes back and back and back up to about 6,000 people. And that is just a wonderful sight to see an independent local band thrilling an audience here in Tunbridge Wells. And the plan for this event is to stage it once again. The battle we face is to raise the funds and investment to make this happen. It is a community event. There's no ticket charge. In itself, it's quite a rare event in that sense. Also in the fact that it just focuses on independent music. There is no big name draw. Paul Weller is not going to get up on that stage, or anybody of that magnitude. But what is wonderful about this is there is so much talent out there. There is so much original creative talent that needs to be cherished and enjoyed. And it is somewhat frustrating when you watch programs like X Factor and lots of these other reality TV shows. And of course, there are talented people who do very well, and you can't deny their talent, of course. But it is a shame to see what happens to these people. They are bigged up and given enormous credibility for one moment on this TV program, and then they are championed as the winner and then they're forgotten about very quickly. And you have to say, well, why is that? Why are they forgotten about? And it's the nature of the music industry that churn them in, churn them out. And a conveyor belt of brief fame is just swept aside. And what I believe is that everybody deserves a platform. Everybody deserves a platform. If they've got a musical talent that they want to expose, they deserve a platform. Children need to be inspired. And it's so important. Rockers need to rock. Rappers need to rap. Cellists need to play their cellos. Opera singers need to be doing their opera. This all needs to happen. So live music must continue, but it needs the support. For the thrill of the experience that you all crave and enjoy, the support has to come from the community to then get the experience that we all deserve. Thank you very much.